What a fucking load of fucking bullshit. I mean, this guy's fucking stupid. I mean, how many fucking times do I gotta fucking tell you what I'm fucking saying? No, don't fucking put the code there. Put it fucking here, you fucking idiot. Continue. Very nice. Continue. Nice. Continue. By the end of this video, I'm gonna take you from that guy over there to the guy over here. And I'm gonna do it to you because I'm gonna show you the fundamental difference that makes this happen. Because the single biggest misconception about AI is that it is fundamentally different from human intelligence, which is absolutely the most ridiculous load of nonsense I've ever heard in my life. Like, this one philosophical misunderstanding is why most of you are struggling like this guy over here to get the results from the AI and keep hitting the same plateaus over and over, and while others are getting this seemingly magical continue outcome. So if you're like most people using AI, you're experiencing this very frustrating pattern, and trust me, I see it everywhere. You've put time into learning prompting techniques, you're getting decent results, but you just keep hitting this very annoying ceiling. And sometimes your AI produces this brilliant magic, right? And other times it completely misses the mark. And you're just sitting there thinking, like, are you kidding me? You know, I gave you this amazing 2,000 line prompt with every single detail you could ever need. Right? I gave you everything you need to do, and how are you still messing this up? So I get it, trust me, I get it. You know, you want to be on the cutting edge, you understand what's at stake here, and that things are moving hella fast, and anyone who masters these tools now was going to be light years ahead of everyone else. But learning the tech itself is low-key pointless because it's just changing every day. So what really matters is not the tech itself, but the fundamentals that are going to persist through all of this very rapid change. So right now, you're stuck in this very annoying loop of incremental improvements that's not really going to get you where you need to be. And you're going to end up stuck when the tech inevitably keeps shifting again and again and again. And then what? You're going to be back to square one, hands in the air, not knowing what to do. And trust me, I've been there many times. So I'm now going to show you a philosophical shift in how I understand AI that completely transformed my results, like literally, and regardless of whatever model or tool you end up using. Because even when I was working with the most absolute garbage models, this approach still worked. And now with the better models, the results are just amplified by 10. So here's the craziest thing, is that even with the amazing models, and I'm not kidding, like, it's actually crazy, is that everything still ends up falling apart when I'm not implementing this approach. I go back to being the guy that's like screaming over here at this AI versus when I'm doing this stuff that I'm about to teach you with the continue button. So the shift is really easy, it's really big because it's going to exponentially improve your output without requiring more technical knowledge. It's easy because it's very leveraged patterns that you already understand. And it's new, I suppose, because no one's really talking about recognizing this for what it really is. And it's quite safe because, you know, it's working in any AI system, any model, any tool. Heck, man, it even works with humans and any system anywhere. And I'm not even exaggerating. So, look, I'm not some AI research scientist or ML engineer, bro. Like, I'm just a guy who's been really deeply immersed in implementing AI systems into what I've been doing. So I kept hitting those same walls until I had this realization. And when I started applying this philosophical understanding, my AI implementations went from this constant fighting like this guy over here to consistently very exceptional results like this guy and producing what I wanted. So projects that went from seeming very impossible became very straightforward, and the best part is the more I implemented this understanding, the better that it got. So I'm literally at the point now, like I said, where I can just hit the continue button and the AI just keeps producing amazing output for hours. So as you know, most people, the longer they go, the worse the context window fills up, and then you just end up getting to a massive roadblock you can't pass. And so the thing is, it's not about the prompt engineering. Although that naturally does happen, the engineering does get better there, but it's fundamentally changing how you approach the relationship between humans and AI and about seeing them for what they really are. So today I'm not going to be giving you some magical prompt or some quick hack, and this is like for people that are really forward-thinking creators who value that deeper understanding and are willing to shift their mindset and their mental model to achieve exponentially better results. And if that's you, which I know it is because you've made these kind of shifts before, because you understand their value and these fundamental understandings, and that this might actually end up being one of the most important AI insights you hear this year. At least I hope. That'd be pretty cool because then I feel like I got you some good value today. So I hope you're going to see what I mean here in a sec. So what is this philosophical shift that transforms you in how you implement AI? Well, it's very simple. Humans and AI are fundamentally both just pattern optimization machines. Not just recognizing patterns, but optimization. So when you truly internalize this, you're going to start really seeing that any successful pattern humans use can be directly transferred into your AI implementations. And the results are, and I'm not even exaggerating, they're absolutely extraordinary. So let me show you how the first major insight that will completely transform how you approach this AI stuff and get you the cutting edge results that you've been looking for this whole time. So you could just sit there like a monkey on a phone and just have continue all day long. Now, humans and AIs are not fundamentally different systems. We're just both pattern optimization machines. So the moment you're going to start understanding this is where everything starts to change. Like literally everything. Now let's look at what happened recently when the researchers started mapping the neural networks of these AI systems. Okay? They discovered something absolutely mind-blowing, which is that AI networks naturally cluster math abilities and writing abilities into regions. Just like how we do that in the human brain, how we organize specialized functions in these different areas, right? You've got your RAS, your reticular activating system in the front that does many things, but the one thing it's really important for doing is being your command center. But we put that task here, right? So we start grouping these things in these different parts of our brain. But guess what? That pattern exists in AI as well. Isn't that interesting? And it's not really a coincidence because both these systems are optimizing for the same fundamental task, which is pattern optimization, right? And the output that comes from that. So maybe we don't fully understand why our brain or AIs are clustering these categories into these same parts of their neural systems, but that doesn't really matter. No, that's not the important part. What matters is recognizing something deeper here, right? And beyond the supposed separation of humans and AI, it becomes very obvious when you realize we're fundamentally just both pattern optimizers. Now this means something very profound for your implementation strategy, because any pattern that works effectively for human cognition, whether it's learning and output, is going to work for AI too, just in a very slightly different format. And it's not just human pattern, just any optimized pattern. Over millions of years that have been formed, you can take those and implement them into any pattern optimization system, which AI is, which humans are. So any pattern that works effectively has been optimized will work for the AI. And that's the deeper level. It's not about the human pattern optimization or the AI pattern optimization, but just the pattern optimization itself, all right? When we remove that distinction, we start to see things for what they really are. So for example, you already know how humans perform better with clear objectives, right? When we're very clear on what we want to do. And we have this very focused attention rather than trying to juggle multiple things. So how many times have you been able to produce amazing results and output when you were focused on 10 things at once? Never, right? Never. The same pattern applies perfectly to AI. When you give AI too much context, right, which can be useful in some cases, I'm not saying it's not, but when you give it too much context and you want it to do something and you try to give it too many tasks at once, it starts hallucinating like some kind of trip and produces lower quality outputs. Just like how humans get overwhelmed and make mistakes when they're multitasking. So remember that 2,000 line prompt I mentioned earlier that still resulted in the AI messing up? Now you understand. Now you understand why. If that prompt contains 30 different tasks, even with perfect instructions, the AI can't focus on it properly. Just like you can't, okay? Just like you can't, because nobody can. I can't, you can't. When I understood this, it was like right in my face, bro, right in my face. So I immediately started splitting my AI implementation stuff into multiple specialized agents. Instead of just one with a huge list, even though the list was amazing, it was amazing, right? I started splitting it up. And the results, oh my God, immediately better. because each agent started able to have this ability to focus properly, right? Like not just a little bit better, but dramatically better. I was literally writing this script with one prompt. I said, dude, just apply it. Here, I split it up into 7 agents and bam, boom, 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 way faster. Beautiful, beautiful. So I hope you like my little Trump impersonation there. So this breakthrough comes when you start consciously applying successful human patterns or any optimized patterns to your AI implementation. So instead of treating AI like it's some mysterious black box or a casino slot machine, sometimes giving you amazing results and other times completely just garbage, right? You just look at well-established human systems and transfer those patterns directly, very directly. So think about it like this. For centuries, we've been optimizing how humans work together. How did we go from making monkey sounds, right, and fire to creating super intelligent AI, right? We simply just kept optimizing how humans work together and produce, both individually and together, right? So let's look at organizations. We have managers who oversee the projects. We have specialists who then focus on very specific tasks. And then guess what? We have the review process to catch any errors, right? And that's very important. And so these organizational patterns weren't created randomly. They evolved because they work. They were more efficient, more effective. So what did we do without even realizing it? We implemented these patterns into multi-agent AI systems, but we weren't necessarily aware of it. But this should have been the first thought we all thought. How can we take a pattern, right, that's already amazing, and implement it into AI systems? So people keep talking about this AI replacing us, but that's missing the whole point. Because you're just part of this pattern. Remember, you were a pattern optimizer, right? You are just part of this system. AI is enhancing this pattern at a faster speed. So it's not about you, it's about the pattern optimizing itself. So when you wrap your head around that, just for a second, please. So let's look at another example, shall we? The myth of this one-shot prompt. So what does that even fucking mean, bro? What does that even mean? When has a human ever communicated something perfectly the first time? Like, that's just not how anything works. You can't expect someone to know exactly what you want, what you're thinking the first time you explain it, right? It's an irrational thought to have that belief. So how can you expect an AI to get literally your thoughts perfect the first time? So at least like one round of revision, man, like come on, bro. Like what do humans actually do? We go through many rounds as many as it takes to get to this final output we want, right? So that's another pattern. Your desire for a one-shot prompt literally doesn't even make any sense. And this doesn't mean you'll always be in the loop. Humans are not always going to be in the loop. It just means you can recognize how to take a human system, right, and put an AI into that system. So don't see yourself as special, okay? See yourself as part of a pattern that can be optimized. And have the AI create, then have another AI review, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until you get the final beautiful output, okay? So you don't need a human for that. It's just a pattern. And plug AI into the pattern. It's not about humans or AI, it's about optimized patterns. So again, I'm going to just keep repeating it. It's not about you getting replaced. It's not about getting replaced at all. It's still the same optimized pattern, just in a different format, with a different thing implementing the pattern. Mind-blowing, I know. So, let me share what happened when I first started applying this understanding. I was trying to build this very complex software system, and I kept having these endless arguments with AI. That guy at the beginning, like, what the fuck? That guy, right, was me. It is me many times, okay, whenever I don't do this stuff. And when I was making this app, I was having these endless arguments. And I give it this task, and it would go halfway through, and then it'd go off track. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? Or I'd be thinking of something different. And then the whole thing, it would just be like, bro, it would just all get messed up because no one had any clear roadmap or direction. And we just kept going forward a little bit, and then hitting the wall. Go forward a little bit, and then hitting another wall. And then back to square one again, and again, and again, and again. It's like if you start building without a clear vision, right? But like, how in the world, look at any successful human team. They have a vision that's like 100 years long, man. 100 years, bro. Think about it. Like, just think about that. And they work it back decade by decade by decade by decade, okay? Until the current day, all right? No wonder they execute with speed and precision when they have an exact roadmap and the exact steps to get there. So I completely changed my approach. Instead of just doing this one shot or this immediately going with the project, right? When I get the idea, I just start the project. No, I don't. I document a very detailed vision and roadmap. 50 steps, it's one project, 50 steps, extremely detailed, and gave the AI the full picture, right? Before asking it to start any specific task, right? So now it's aligned, okay? So just like you would with any human team, I got it aligned first. Then I would create these specialized roles, right? One AI, solely focused on programming. Another, solely focused on reviewing that code. Another, planning the next steps, okay? I separated all of them. You see, we humans, we end up wearing multiple hats, but that's not really how it works. I had this tennis coach guy that I was doing this business with, and he was like also the guy who invented the tennis system, not just the coach of the system. The reality is, he had two people in his body, right? But you can't see that because visually it's very deceptive. Same with ourselves. When we think we're the planner, the executor, the reviewer all at once, but reality is we're actually three different people in one body. Okay? So with AI, you have to separate these roles and keep each one just focused on the one thing. Because even as a human, when you focus just on one of these roles at a time, you do a much better job, So what was the result of me documenting, having a vision, having a roadmap, having the foresight to split these AI agents up into specialized roles? Well, the work that had been crawling around for weeks and weeks and causing constant frustration suddenly started flowing perfectly. I went from that guy to the continue guy. Bro, my monkey brain mode, okay? And it wasn't like I had to fight the AI anymore. All I had to do was press continue. That's crazy, I know. And I had to have it reference our instruction file. And we just perfectly pick up where it left off without needing the full context of what was happening because we had an amazing system, okay? So it's like someone with amnesia, with this AI stuff sometimes. It's like you put cards up in the hospital room and they wake up, they look around, they see the card, and 30 seconds they're fully contextualized. That was what the whole plan was like, So it's the same with the AI. It's not anything different. It's just another pattern repeating itself in another area, you see? And we just pick up right where we left off, producing high quality content very consistently, conversation after conversation, as if we weren't even in a new conversation. It went from feeling like wrestling with a stubborn little baby tool to feeling like I was directing a very, very high performing team, 100%. So you might be thinking, isn't the whole point of AI that it can do things that humans can't? Well, why would I model it after human patterns? I thought, well, here's the thing. AI is not special, and neither are you. And you need to get that through your head because it's just the same thing expressing itself in a different form. Pattern optimization. Okay? So humans have spent millions of years optimizing these patterns to be much more efficient. All we have to do is copy these patterns and that are already amazing, already doing great things, instead of starting from scratch or thinking of some magical new approach because it's all the same, right? Now, if you're finding value in this approach so far, and I know you are, right? Do three things right now. 1, like the video. 2, subscribe. And then 3, I want you to share it with 3 people, 3 who would highly benefit from this. Because seriously, I'm not just saying this is some standard YouTube request. I'm trying to build a tribe here of very forward-thinking creators who want to find that deeper meaning and who want to create a deeper impact. Okay? And so by leveraging these AI tools, we can do that for the people in our communities. So I want you to share this with people, and I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to literally make this video and post it and share it with my friend, okay? Because I believe in it that much. Now, I want you to show you how specific human patterns you can transfer over to AI, right? Because this will be the quickest way we can start taking action, okay? And we're going to start getting you ahead of 99% of people who aren't using these systems or are using broken systems, okay? So let's look at some very specific patterns you can directly translate and transfer over to your AI implementations. So the first one is your focus optimization. Humans excel when they focus on one task at a time. This is why techniques like the Pomodoro method or this super learner protocol work so well. For AI, this means breaking the complex projects into smaller focused tasks, right? Instead of giving in at just one massive prompt, right? Instead of just saying, build me an entire app, instead of just saying, build me an entire 150,000 page book just like that, you say, hey, let's plan the data model for this very specific feature. Oh, let's plan out the structure for the book that's very solidified. And then maybe let's do some research. You're only going to do the research for chapter 1, okay? So, because, the thing is, right, this dramatically starts to improve the quality because the AI isn't trying to, juggle so many things at once. And when that AI is finished with this task, you can end the conversation right there and then and to continue in the next one because you have the system set up to just keep going, okay? So it's very simple. The second one is a hierarchical organization, right? In human organizations, we have executives, right, who set the vision. We have the managers who coordinate. We have the specialists who execute, right? This same pattern works incredibly well for the AI systems, as we all know with the multi-agentic systems, right? So we create an orchestrator agent that maintains this big picture, the managers that coordinate the specific domains, and the workers that go and focus on specialized tasks, right? You're going to have a different agent for all these different domains within all these different seeds or entity projects, right? So each level only has the context it needs while still kind of giving it the overall picture to align it, right? But this allows it to not get overwhelmed. And no, you don't necessarily need full agents to do this. You can manually do this by, just yourself using the different chats or conversations with specialized project instructions. Okay, that's what I do sometimes with some things, and it works great. Now, third is the iterative improvement. Humans don't get things right on the first try. We build, we test, we improve. When the Air Force debriefs after missions, and that things might have gone wrong or something a little bit changed here, right? What do? They break down every step until they find the exact root cause of every issue, right? And they find that root cause of those issues, and then they ensure that the problem never happens again because they document this, right? And they save it somewhere, and then they can reuse that information. So apply this same pattern to AI by implementing your feedback loops, right? You have one AI who executes the task, and then you have the other AI who's watching this, right? And then they're reviewing the output, okay? And you use those insights to improve the process. And when things go wrong, because they will, you have a process by which you get to the root problem. Then you save that information, so this problem never happens again. Literally just repeat that pattern because it's already working, right? Fourth, your clarity of purpose. Your human performs better when they understand not just what they're doing, but why they're doing it, right? If you've ever had a job or ever done anything where you didn't really understand the bigger purpose, you know how demotivating that is. Eventually you're like, why am I doing this? AI needs that same clarity, but for a different reason. You provide the context about the overall goal, not just the immediate task, and that dramatically improves output quality because the AI stays aligned with what it's doing. So for example, if I just took a snippet of what I'm talking about and I gave it to the AI to make a YouTube script, right? But I didn't tell it the overall picture of what this was and what it's for and how this fits into the bigger picture, right? Of the bigger scheme in this ecosystem that I have and what I'm doing here, it's not going to understand how to curate this information in a way that's maximally effective for the audience who's listening to this message. So when you think about what happens when you join a new company, right? You're given an employee handbook, you're introduced to your team, you're shown examples of good work, and given very clear expectations, right? Maybe even a checklist. Smart people. But imagine if instead, on your first day, your boss just came to you and said, build me a marketing campaign. No context, no examples, no guidelines. You'd be a deer in headlights, man. Like honestly, you'd be absolutely lost. Maybe you'd figure it out, but that's what happens with AI. Maybe it figures it out. But man, when you have that clear set of instructions, it's very obvious of what to do and execute very well. So this is exactly what happens when people throw that one-shot prompt to the AI without any context or framework. Yet we're expecting these perfect results. And then we get frustrated when we don't get them. It's like you give it the massive 2,000-line prompt, and then it messes up, and you're like, what the heck, man? How is it getting it wrong? It's like the AI's fault, or is it your fault? That's the question you got to realize, right? Because it's not the AI's fault, man. It's just about the pattern. So sure, AI can get better at handling more complex stuff from the first prompt. But when you want to change direction, man, good luck. Because the changes will be so much slower compared to if you just had a clear vision and a clear roadmap from the very beginning, right? So let me share one more example here. I was working on documenting that complex system, and the AI kept producing what was technically correct, but kept missing the mark. So I kept applying these things of these human pattern of thinking models, right? We have these structured approaches to problem solving that humans have, the things that we've developed over centuries, and I implemented it to great effect. And I unstructured the AI to use these very specific thinking models like the 5 ways, or these different thinking, different thinking hats, or this layered thinking or critical thinking, or, devil's advocate or deductive reasoning, right? Then all these different ways of thinking, and suddenly the quality started skyrocketing. And guess what? This was before all the reasoning models came out, right? And I was like, man, if you just make this thing think in a certain way, we can have an amazing output. And guess what? They came out with reasoning models after that. And I was like, dude, that's crazy, isn't it? Crazy how we just applied a pattern, and that pattern literally changed the way that we literally changed human history. Look at DeepSeek, right? And all it was because that thinking model, man. The reasoning is amazing, right? So, no joke, it was a night and day difference. You could turn dumb models into amazing models just like that. So, these thinking models that help humans create better outputs were equally as effective for AI, right? Shocking. So, not really when you understand that we're all just these pattern optimization machines. And the point isn't which specific models you use, it's just recognizing that any structured approach to thinking that works for humans can be directly transferred to AI with similar benefits. Which is why I honestly sometimes don't even like using a thinking model, because I wanted to use my thinking model that's been proved over centuries, right? And I think that these AI companies could allow for that. That'd be quite cool to see the research on that. So, you might ask, doesn't this approach require more setup time than just writing a prompt? And yes, 100% it does. But here's the thing, right? This investment pays exponential dividends. Just like setting up proper systems in a business takes time up front, but saves countless hours on the back end, right? Creating these proper structures for AI implementation means you'll stop wasting time fighting with inconsistent outputs and endlessly tweaking your prompts, right? It's like I could have just kept writing this script with one AI over and over, and the next time go through the same stuff. Or I could set apart a few hours of time to not write the script to make this optimization system, right? And now I can pump out content like crazy with the scripts, right? So now here's this philosophical understanding we have to get to, right? Is that we got to start applying it practically. This exact approach that's going to start transforming your AI workflows that'll go from frustrating to frictionless, right? You can go from yelling to just clicking continue. You need to start shifting from treating AI as this tool to treating it as a cognitive partner operating on the same principles as your own mind, okay? And this means consciously looking for successful patterns everywhere, okay? And applying them into your AI implementation, okay? So when you hit a roadblock with AI, stop asking, what prompt will fix this? Instead, ask, what optimized system addresses this type of problem? Okay? Is your AI producing inconsistent outputs? Well, look at how humans maintain consistently. Checklists, clear criteria, review processes. Transfer those patterns. Is your AI missing important context? Look at how humans onboard new team members. Orientation documentation. Examples of good work. Clear definitions of success. Transfer those patterns. See, we've already kind of done some of these, haven't we? But we can keep enhancing it. Is your AI getting stuck in repetitive loops? Look at how humans break out of these fixed thinking things, right? Perspective shifts, outside input, alternative frameworks. Transfer those patterns, right? The beauty of this approach is that you already know these patterns. You already know them. You've just been using them your entire life in all these various contexts, but you were not looking at what you were seeing, right? You didn't see it, but now we're starting to see it. The breakthrough starts happening when you start consciously connecting these things to your AI implementation. So it's like realizing that you've been speaking the same language all along, but you've been using these different dialects, right? Like I've got a dialect, these people from Boston have one, these people from Cali have one, these people from Australia have one, right? When you understand the translation mechanism, this communication becomes effortless, right? Both you and the AI speak the language of pattern optimization. You just need to recognize the dialect differences. So the most powerful example in my own work came when I was building this memory system for my AI implementations, right? So I noticed that human organizations document the processes, right? Like we talked about, lessons learned, challenges faced, technical details, all of these things, right? They separate what was done correctly from what was done poorly, right? They use these distinct teams, one working, one reviewing, right? And it's just a beautiful system. So when you transfer these things, like I did, with this exact pattern to the AI workflow, and you create a system where the AI documents when it completes something, its lessons learned, its challenges faced, its technical details, right? When you implement these worker agents and review agents, and when you create these functions that measure if you're actually getting closer to the goal with the outputs, right? Well, the result is that you have a system that starts self-optimizing over time, just like how human organizations do. And no, it's not magic. It's just a direct transfer of the patterns that have already been proven to work. So when I saw it happening in real time, it was one of those moments when you just sit back and you just think like, man, how did I not see this before? Like, this is so simple, right? So now you can understand the philosophical shift that can transform your implementation, right? So by transferring these successful human patterns, you can achieve these results that put you far ahead of others that still treat AI as this mysterious black box. So with your existing understanding, right, you can start applying this approach immediately. To help you implement this as well, if you might be a little bit complex, maybe not, I really don't think so. But if it is, no problem. I got you, bro. I got you. So I have this pattern recognition framework. This is a comprehensive guide. It's totally free. So I'm going to give it to you. It's a self-diagnostic checklist with very powerful questions to ask when you're working with the AI. It's a guide for identifying human patterns, right, that you can apply to AI tasks. And it's a template for setting up your AI projects based on our natural human processes. Right? So I have the link, it's free, so it's in the description, just go ahead and get that. And then with your existing skills, also, I am gonna add you to my email list, you can't escape it, but I'm gonna give you heat there, bro. So just don't worry, we got you covered, okay? So, you'll be applying these principles in your very next AI interactions, all right? That's your plan, okay? And now, not just saying that, I truly believe you're going to start seeing these immediate results and improvements in your stuff. And the AI landscape, yes, it's evolving very rapidly. So that's why mastering these implementation approaches now is going to give you that exponential advantage. I'm talking, 10x, 100x improvements of your current results, all right? So here's the powerful bonus, right? That I'm going to give you today. So it's a set of diagnostic questions to ask yourself whenever you're struggling with your AI outputs, all right? Here we go. Number one, am I making the AI aware of the right things, or am I overloading it with way too much context and maybe some of the wrong stuff? Number two, am I keeping the AI focused on a single task when I need to focus on a task? Or am I asking it to juggle multiple objectives? Reference back to the 2,000 line prompt, okay? If the 2,000 line prompt's a bunch of different things versus just one thing, big difference, okay? Am I keeping well, I just asked you that question. We're gonna go to number three, right? Number three, what human organizational pattern would solve this type of problem effectively? Pro tip, if you can't figure these things out, just go ask AI. It has the entire internet in its brain. So, number four, all right? Number four, have I provided the clear purpose and the context, not just the instructions, right? Number five, that was number 10. Number five, am I using a feedback loop to continuously improve this process? Number six, have I created specialized roles rather than asking one AI instance to do everything? Number seven, have I documented the full vision and roadmap, or am I just giving it disconnected instructions? Okay, so once you start asking yourself these questions, whenever you hit this roadblock, right, that you're facing, will immediately start pointing you toward the solution that you need, saving you many, many hours of frustration and dramatically improving your results, all right? So also in that link, you're gonna get all these 7 questions if you don't wanna type them down. So this philosophical understanding is just the foundation. Because in the next video, I'm gonna start showing you how we can start building these multi-agent systems based on these human organizational patterns, right? These practical implementations of everything we've discussed today. You're gonna start seeing exactly how to structure these AI systems that mirror successful human patterns for extraordinary results. Now, with your current understanding, this next video will give you that blueprint you need for creating these systems for far more powerful, outcomes than these isolated prompts are going to give you. And, I want you to make sure that you're subscribed, right? And that way, you don't miss any of it, okay? And if you download that framework using the link in the description. So the next video should already be up if it's not, but otherwise, just go ahead and click right here.